There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at mostly silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so that we can all move on with our lives. I'm Claire Stevens. I'm joined by... I got too excited.
You got too excited.
I'm Jessie Stevens, your sister. What were you going to say? I'm joined by...
Oh.
Jessie, we're twins. We got a message from someone saying they like it when we state that we're twins.
Oh.
For the record. They like it because it's just really putting it in the courtroom. They think it's funny. So I was like, give the people what they want. Jessie, before we begin, I had a thought.
Oh.
About things that should be cancelled.
Just things, not people.
Just things.
All right.
And
I like cancelling a thing. It doesn't hurt anyone.
What I was thinking about was I've seen this term around the place and I don't know what it means and I find it upsetting.
Okay.
I want to cancel the concept of resort wear.
I don't understand resort wear.
Am I meant to buy it and go to a resort and then go to dinner wearing a jumpsuit?
Here's a question. Have you ever been to a resort? I don't know.
Once, and I wore the same thing the whole time.
Because there's often whole shops set up for resort wear. Yeah. And I don't understand the dress code. Are we just wearing shorts and a t-shirt and some thongs?
Yeah, is that not resort
wear?
wear?
Wearing caftan.
Do you have anything you'd like to cancel just before we get stuck in?
Yeah, I do. The nutbush.
I hate the nutbush. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's ironic.
I don't know how to do it.
No, and Australians particularly like the nutbush, despite the fact it feels very American.
Yeah.
Jessie, today on the show, we're talking about Oprah Winfrey.
She's come up a lot.
We often talk about when the cancelled courtroom crosses over, and Oprah has been involved in so many other cancellations. Some of them include Lance Armstrong, Meghan Markle, Tom Cruise, Dr. Phil, and so on. But now it's her time in the spotlight. And note that this will be a 2-part series.
There's so much.
Done completely chronologically, which may get confusing thematically, but it's okay. We're just going from start to finish. Oprah's incidents. Oprah Gale Winfrey was originally...
It's her middle name, Gayle.
It is. Spelt differently to her friend Gayle.
All right, yeah.
She was originally named Orpah, but people pronounced it Oprah, and it stuck.
Aww.
She had a very hard childhood and adolescence with a single mother, and she has stated that she was molested by her cousin, uncle, and a family friend, starting when she was 9 years old. She ran away at 13. At 14, she fell pregnant, and her son was born prematurely and died shortly after birth. She took over a low-rating morning talk show in Chicago in the early 1980s, and within months, she took it to the highest-rating show.
Of course she did.
The Oprah Winfrey Show was born, and it aired for more than 25 years.
I should put on the record at this point. I love Oprah. I love Oprah Winfrey. I think she's brilliant. She has had a really solid part in my life, I would say. I threw a lot of sickies when I was at school. I'd say, I'm feeling sick this morning, Mum, and she'd yell at me, and anyway, I won. So I would have a television schedule. Dr. Phil at 12, Oprah at 1. I think 2 or 3 was Ready, Steady, Cook, and that's when you knew the day was over. And you'd go, oh, no, I feel guilty now because I missed a day of school for this.
I feel shame.
Yeah, and sometimes you'd go... I remember the music. I'd often have my lunch ready for Oprah and it'd be a shit one. And you'd go, Oprah.
Come on now. I took a whole day off school.
Took a day off for this.
But that really, Oprah was the peak of
Oprah
having
was
a
the
day
peak.
off,
Yeah.
a day off school. You went, this is the golden time.
Exactly.
It's only downhill from here.
Yes. And if it was one about sex or one about, there'd be some gossipy ones. If she gave away some free stuff, I didn't love it as much. But there were some great episodes.
Well, Jessie, as somebody who loved Oprah, what celebrity do you think appeared the most times on Oprah?
Great question. I mean, I would say Gayle.
Gayle King.
It was Gayle. She appeared 141 times.
Gayle and Oprah's friendship is
something to aspire to.
Something to aspire to.
She is the mother I never had. She is the sister everybody would want. She is the friend that everybody deserves. I don't know a better person.
And we should probably put on the record Stedman because they've been together for for a long time. I don't often write celebrity pieces, but for Mamamia, I have written the love story of Oprah and Stedman as a passion piece. They just really like each other. They're not married. She is his queen. It's a fabulous story.
He's always in the audience.
But
Gayle,
not in like a Robin, Dr. Phil
not
way.
in a Robin way. He doesn't come onto stage and dance.
No. Because that would take the attention from Oprah.
No. But Gayle, she has appeared 141 times. The second most appearing celebrity was Celine Dion at 28 times.
Please welcome Celine Dion performing My Heart Will Go On. Celine Dion!
Celine Dion is a far more successful singer than you realize. She's like the second most successful female recording artist of all time.
I think she quit a few times. She was one of those people that kept quitting and coming back, and every time she quit, she'd be on Oprah.
That's worth an interview. But anyway, my point is Gayle has just been on a lot.
Yeah.
Some would say too much, not me. Oprah has always loved her best friend Gayle. They met when Oprah was in her early 20s. On the show, they would take trips together in a segment called Oprah and Gayle's Big Adventures.
On day 6, we got lost. Some of the most fun we had on this trip was when we decided to crash a wedding in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After 10 days and 3,000 miles, we were finally in the home stretch. But then Gayle said something no passenger ever wants to hear, especially when you're driving on a bridge.
I'm gonna have to pull over because I need to put on my glasses. You can't see late at night. Oh my God. I can see, but lights have little halos around them.
It's just such a vibe.
It's like they clearly just wanted a holiday together and they're like, let's make content.
Yes.
Original content creators.
Sometimes they fought over the radio. It was iconic.
Oh, they're just two women having a laugh.
And Jessie, for this episode, I need you to be Gayle.
Oh.
Can you be Gayle?
I'm just the world's very best friend.
Okay. In 2018, it came out that Oprah might run for president. But that meant the media combed through all her scandals to show the issues she'd run into on the campaign trail, which, like Donald Trump. But anyway. Jessie, there are 4,500 episodes of The Oprah Winfrey Show.
I know, I watched all of them.
Plus, there's Oprah generally living a very public life. The 90s were a weird time, and the woman did some strange things. I'm going to bring the case against her. You're going to be Gayle, defending your best friend Oprah from anachronism. That is, applying the standards of the present to the past and holding her accountable for things she cannot possibly have known.
Okay.
Can you tell what my bias is?
Yes.
My structure for today is as follows. Part 1, Michael Jackson interview. Part 2, uncomfortable interview with Dennis Rodman. Part 3, flirting with pseudoscience. Part 4, uncomfortable interview with Olsen twins. Let's begin.
I like it when she says aha moment.
Oh,
Aha, that is aha. Aha, aha. Was that not an aha moment for y'all?
That's an aha moment for me.
That's an aha.
I didn't think about that.
That's what it is.
And I also love it when she repeats the last two words of what someone said, but with different emphasis.
she repeats things a lot.
She
She'll
does.
ask a question and then someone will answer and she'll repeat their answer. And it really sounds like she doesn't believe them
She does it in a way where it's just more profound.
when she says it.
Yeah.
Very true. Just for context, in part 2, we're getting to a lot of other juicy stuff.
Okay.
The time she defended a fake book, there's a child sex abuse scandal at the school she started, lies told by Oprah, the Harvey Weinstein stuff, and her weird weight loss
Wagon of fat.
wagon of fat.
Okay.
But let's stick to this episode. Michael Jackson. It's February 1993, and a little-known pop star named Michael Jackson goes on Oprah. He talks about his complicated relationship with his father, which involved physical violence. They also talked about his vitiligo, which was causing his skin to lose pigmentation. He also beatboxed to Oprah, and she enjoyed it.
She popped along.
90 million people watched the show. But in hindsight, people be mad. In August of that same year, the first reports of alleged child abuse committed by Jackson were picked up by the media. Now, we're in a courtroom.
Yeah.
This is really important, but I need to ask you, Gayle, a question.
Yeah.
He was interviewed in February.
By Oprah, yeah.
The allegations came out in August.
Okay.
Is August before or after February?
Oh. That is a few months after
Yeah.
February. Yeah.
Yes. And that means that Oprah actually didn't know and had no way of knowing the allegations when she did her fun little beatboxing interview with Michael Jackson.
Okay, why didn't she know?
Because they hadn't come out yet. This would be the first of a lot of accusations. Evan Chandler, who accused Jackson in 2003, accepted a settlement. And then in 2005, there was another court case. Then, of course...
Why didn't Oprah know about that court case?
I know. I think...
That was 2.5 years later.
It's fair to say she should have had a crystal ball and she shouldn't have been doing interviews when she didn't know what the future held.
Yeah.
In 2019, a documentary was released called Leaving Neverland, all about the alleged child sex abuse experienced by Wade Robson and James Safechuck. After this aired, Oprah hosted an episode of her show called After Neverland, where she interviewed the two men and the director. She essentially condemned all the stuff about Michael Jackson.
And I know people all over the world are going to be in an uproar and debating whether or not Michael Jackson did these things or not, whether these two men are lying or not lying. But for me, this moment transcends Michael Jackson. It is much bigger than any one person. This is a moment in time that allows us to see this societal corruption. It's like a scourge on humanity.
So what I'm seeing here is that we're seeing someone's mind and opinion change in light of new evidence.
Yeah.
Which is never okay.
No.
Oh, she should be held accountable. That's why she's on the courtroom today.
Courtroom for changing her mind.
Exactly.
And learning things as time changes.
Exactly. And condemning bad people.
Yeah. So, Gayle, do you think that this is a crime?
I do not actually think this is a crime, no.
Okay.
I think that Oprah did the best with what information she had and that beatboxing at the time was appropriate.
Okay.
If Michael Jackson was still alive and Oprah was interviewing him, it would be quite inappropriate to beatbox. Because there are more pressing questions.
There are.
Oprah couldn't have known. She is my good friend. She's a good lady.
Okay, thank you, Gayle. In 1996, Chicago Bulls basketball player Dennis Rodman was interviewed by Oprah.
Did you say 96?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm just
You're
placing
just
it into context.
Following
yes.
the timeline.
I'm remembering that time I was 6. I'm sure I was away that day watching that interview. Yes.
That would have been one, I think, that you would have been like, oh, I don't know who this person is. I don't care.
No, and I would have missed like my class in year 1, which was about counting with dominoes or something, and I really have struggled since.
He had made headlines throughout the 90s for his relationship with actor Carmen Electra and for appearing in light drag on a Sports Illustrated cover the year before the interview. In the interview, she repeatedly asks him about his sexuality and doesn't seem to believe him when he says that he isn't gay or bisexual.
But you are not gay. You're saying to me you are not gay.
No,
and if you were gay, I believe you would tell me.
I think so.
I think so.
It's clear that he's like, why would I tell you, Oprah? She then refers to a passage from Rodman's book, Bad As I Wanna Be, where he writes that in his mind he's bisexual.
Are you bisexual?
No.
You're not bisexual?
No.
You do say, in this book, you say that maybe in your mind you are.
She loves reading from people's books, opening the page and going, I'm going to read this back to you. And she gets quite emotional.
He does. He responds, I can float with the idea. I can float with however you want to look at it. I can do anything I want. That doesn't mean I'm going to act and do it. He also questions men who would say they would never be with a man because he pointed out they've never experienced it. And he said, I'm not going to go out there and try it, but I'm just saying you don't know. Winfrey went on to ask Rodman if he had ever been with a man, to which he replied no.
I have to ask it because you've just laid the door open. So have you been with a man?
No.
You have not been with a man?
No, I haven't. You know, I can't lie to say I haven't kissed a man on the lips. Mm-hmm. But if you look, you go back, and if you have a son, a little boy, how many times you kiss him on the lips?
After that, she repeats the question. She just keeps asking him, but have you been with a man?
The mid-90s, it was a weird time, especially for sexuality.
I know.
We all got titillated.
We
got
did.
titillated, but there was still an enormous amount of homophobia, and we were asking everyone if they were gay all the time because Oprah knew that would be big news.
And then more specifically, but have you ever slept with a man? But have you ever kissed a man?
Have you ever touched a man under his pants?
Yeah. She just wanted...
Oprah, please, it's 2 p.m.
She wanted the details. So now on Twitter, it's gone viral again, and people have responded with things like, these old clips of Oprah make me realise how problematic she was and how she was able to attain her level of success. And everybody's saying she consistently vilified her own community for the white gays for decades. Anyway, people will be really, really mad at her. But I would just like to say, Dennis Rodman was really progressive at that time in terms of sexuality.
Yeah.
He was saying things that if people said them now, it'd be like, yeah, sexuality is fluid, and how can you say?
He just didn't have the words for it yet, and neither did Oprah.
No, she didn't. It was a very different time, and as I've stated, we're imposing the standards of the present on the past. Gayle, do you think this was a misstep by Oprah?
I mean, that woman has done 40 billion hours of television. She's going to ask a man if he's gay 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
She lost her spot. She lost her spot in her questions.
And she zoned out.
And she
was
zoned
like,
out.
Sorry, let me just ask again.
Are you gay? And she just asked again and again. And for that, I forgive Oprah. She wanted a bit of a scandal, probably, a bit of a headline. And for that, I don't begrudge the woman.
No. And then some of the comments even now are like, oh, so ironic that Oprah was doing this. Look at Gayle in the front row. And I'm like, wait.
What's wrong with Gayle?
Well, because they're implying that Oprah and Gayle have a relationship.
We're just close platonically.
You're close friends. And
or we might also be more than that.
But it's ironic that they're doing to Oprah what Oprah was doing to Dennis.
Yeah, exactly
it's just
right.
not very fair.
Exactly.
Internet behaviour.
Yeah.
Moving on to something just a little bit more serious. We've talked before on this podcast about Dr. Phil, who Oprah sold as America's psychologist despite the fact that he hasn't been licensed to practice psychology since 2006.
No, we speak often about how his qualifications are in rheumatoid arthritis. And we did say on this podcast that a show about rheumatoid arthritis wouldn't go well. We got so much hate from the rheumatoid arthritis community.
They were really upset. And you know what? The more I look into it, looks really painful.
It is painful.
And I'm
Claire,
really sorry.
It is painful. But I just don't think that it would make an entertainment show. I don't, which is why Dr. Phil had to go, let's give alcohol to an alcoholic and see what happens. Because that was more fun.
Because it's better for the ratings. Yeah. He has also never been licensed to practice psychology in California, where his show, as well as his first appearances on Oprah, were filmed. But Dr. Phil's actually quite legit as far as Oprah's medical experts go. Drum roll, please. Enter Dr. Oz. In the mid-2000s, she had a man named Mehmet Oz on her show, and she dubbed him America's Doctor. Jesse.
Where did she find him?
He's been so controversial. He's done segments about conversion therapy and framed it as though there are credible experts on both sides. He promoted green coffee bean extract as magic and a miracle for weight loss, despite it being found to have no weight loss benefits. In September 2016, during Trump's presidential campaign, there was all this controversy over Trump's refusal to share the results of his physical health examination.
I remember that.
So Dr. Oz was like, I'm America's doctor.
No, but you don't have any qualifications.
Come here, Trump. Come here, Trump. We'll do it on my show. The taping was closed to the press.
They went full Elizabeth Holmes and they went, you are healthy man. Well, no, the man has 45 Diet Cokes a day. And doesn't eat very well, doesn't do enough exercise.
Well, Dr. Oz didn't ask Trump any questions he didn't want to be asked. And he literally read the results of Trump's health tests from papers handed to him by none other than Trump.
Why not share your medical records? Why not?
Well, I have really no problem in doing it. I have it right here. I mean, should I do it? I don't care. Should I
do it? A research study found that half of Dr. Oz's medical advice is baseless or wrong. So look, Oprah built him as America's most influential physician, and now he's promoting treatments with no scientific basis.
And he's also a Republican senator who's going for a senator thing somewhere, and Oprah had to make a statement.
Oh, no.
And she made a statement that was like, Dr. Oz is going for senator. You can vote for him or not. That was her endorsement of Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I gave him a platform. I put him on your televisions. He had this segment about poo. Do you remember that? It was called Everybody Poops.
Yeah.
Let's get right to it. Dr. Oz says there are 3 things you can do in the bathroom that will keep you living longer.
Well, it's about using your senses. You want to hear what the poop, sounds like when it hits the water. If it sounds like a bombardier, plop, plop, plop. That's not right. It should hit the water like a diver from Acapulco hits the water.
It was an ongoing segment. It wasn't just one.
He was really good at talking about
He loved poo
Yeah.
and he loved overweight middle-aged women. And
Just
kind of
as
getting them up and kind
a
of
class.
prodding them and being like, let's fix that. It was a great content.
It was a terrible time. We spoke earlier about how Oprah crosses over with pretty much every episode of Cancelled we've ever done. And Jessie, do you remember when we did Jim Carrey and we spoke about he and his then wife, Jenny McCarthy, going full anti-vax?
Yes.
McCarthy believes that vaccines gave her son autism, and she believes that she has treated him by giving him a diet that doesn't include gluten. Jessie, who do you think originally gave McCarthy the platform to start talking about that?
Oh, no.
It was a little bit Oprah. It's 2007 and Oprah has McCarthy on and literally gives her an audience to spread her anti-vax message. In the interview, Oprah praises McCarthy for standing up to authority and having faith in herself. Jessie, I actually want you to just read this little excerpt. Okay. Between McCarthy and Winfrey.
McCarthy. First thing I did, Google. I put in autism and I started my research.
Lovely.
So what we see there is that she's put into the Google search bar autism, which is a good place to start. Winfrey. Thank God for Google.
Thanks, Oprah.
McCarthy. I'm telling you. Okay. Winfrey. Thank God for Google, which is what we're saying she likes to repeat.
Yes.
That was an aha moment for her. Okay, McCarthy continues. The University of Google is where I got my degree from. And I put in autism and something came up that changed my life, that led me on this road to recovery, which said, autism. It was in the corner of the screen, is reversible and treatable. And I said, what? This has to be an ad for a Hocus Pocus thing. Because if autism is reversible and treatable, well, then it would be on Oprah. Okay, I think it was like a Hocus Pocus.
It was one of those pop-up ads.
Yeah, you know when you get pop-ups that are either like
a fake news story.
A fake news story or something about weight loss, or this woman in the south of Russia wants to touch your willy and you're like, I don't think she's real.
Or like she's waiting for you.
She's waiting for you and it's like, what did I click on to deserve this? I think that's what she found, and then she went down a rabbit hole.
She did, and then she did end up on Oprah.
Yeah.
Several articles about Jenny McCarthy's warrior spirit are still live on Oprah's website that talk about how her son is now recovered from autism. That's not a thing.
I also remember that Jenny said at the time, because I did catch a few of these episodes, and she said that it was her mummy instinct. And that's what you're not acknowledging.
She wrote a book about it. Her mummy instinct. Mums always know.
They know best.
And she did give him vitamins, and that helped.
All right.
According to her. McCarthy says kids' immune systems should be tested before they have vaccines. It's all completely debunked, but still up there on Oprah's site with little interrogation.
She also, that book that she wrote was with Andrew Wakefield, who is the prominent guy who made up the studies about the link between autism and vaccinations. He is very well known for that.
Correct. And a lot of people blame Oprah for Andrew Wakefield's rise. And I guess it's like 7 degrees of Oprah. Everyone who's ever done anything bad is linked to Oprah
In
through
some
other
way,
people.
because of the 40 billion hours of television. And that's the thing. And then the other thing is that Oprah existed in the 90s. And it was a weird time. We were dabbling in anti-vax. We were fat phobic. We were titillated by the gays. There was a lot going on where we were not our best selves in the 90s, and Oprah was just a mirror.
Okay, this is the thing about Oprah. If we went down to the street right now and there was a line of 300 people, she'd join the line. She doesn't need to know what the line's for. And you know what? You'd end up
makes her great.
The line would be for the toilet. She didn't need to go.
No.
But she would get in that line. And that is what made her brilliant, because she's got a nose. She's got a nose for what people care about.
Which is what you've often said when people say, Claire, why are you so good at your job? You say, my secret is I'm a basic bitch. Allow me to explain. I am the lowest common denominator, and it helps me in my career.
Yes.
I'm not saying Oprah is the lowest common denominator. She is me, Gayle's best friend. But she's a basic bitch.
Yeah. When the average person starts going, oh, I'm feeling a bit woo-woo, Oprah's like, I'm there. The secret. I have an episode.
I have 3 psychics. They're going to read it. You want a new car? We're all going to Philadelphia. What? She just is on it.
She is.
She's got her finger on the pulse.
She does. So I do think that she's a product of her time. In 2009, Oprah signed McCarthy to a deal with her company, starting with writing a blog on Oprah's website. When Oprah was challenged about that, a spokesperson for her told Slate that McCarthy's views were more nuanced than the writer was presenting them. So she really doubled down on the defending of McCarthy. Then there's The Secret.
Have you heard about it? This is the secret to creating the life you truly want. Make more money, lose weight, fall in love, land your dream job. Isn't that amazing? This is life-changing.
I like The Secret.
Oprah loves The Secret.
Well, yeah. Oprah and I talk about her sleepovers.
Basically, The Secret is a mystical self-help system that says thinking good thoughts can cure emotional, financial, and physical problems.
And it was a book and a movie?
Yes, it was like DVDs.
Yeah, I remember getting the DVDs from the video shop once and then putting them in, and then it was actually quite boring.
But
I liked
really
the idea
boring.
of it. I liked having it near me.
Yeah, it's essentially the law of attraction. The idea,
And like a manifestation.
Yeah, and it's the idea that you'll attract into your life whatever you focus on.
I like it because it sounds easy. So the reason that I liked the idea of The Secret was I thought, well, if I just think about X, then it'll happen, which is easier than, say, working hard.
Exactly.
Or eating more greens. So that's what I liked about The Secret.
Oprah endorsed it. The Secret went on to become one of the fastest selling books and probably the most successful infomercial in history. Oprah's very first show about The Secret was seen by a woman named Kim Tinkham, who had been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, shit.
In 2007, Kim told Winfrey that The Secret had motivated her to ignore her doctors and heal herself. She turned away from traditional medicine and the advice that she needed immediate surgery and treatment. In Winfrey's defense, she did try to talk Tinkham out of it.
You have access in this country to the most, profound, medical treatment.
Right.
I feel that you should use that. You should take advantage of that. And while you're taking advantage of that, think as positively, think about attracting healing to yourself, think about the goodness that the healing will bring to yourself. But I don't think that you should ignore all of the advantages of medical science.
She said the law of attraction is not the answer to everything. It is not the answer to
breast
atrocities
cancer.
or every tragedy. Very good, Oprah. But Tinkham did not listen. She was determined to heal herself, and she died 3 years later. And that is the impact of pseudoscience on real people.
That's not Oprah's fault. Like, it wasn't meant to be about health. It was meant to be about dreaming. And this is the thing about successful people. Famous rich people love manifestation because it helps them justify how they got where they got.
They're like, I thought I'd get here.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody thinks that they'll get there, but many don't. And that is crushing.
Exactly.
But Oprah, she did very overtly say, you can believe in this stuff and also get a mastectomy. You can believe in this stuff and also follow traditional medicine. But a lot of people said it was too little too late. I can understand how by promoting positive thinking and the law of attraction, she would not have seen that it could have these kinds of outcomes.
No, I agree.
But, I mean, this was more than 15 years ago. People are still advocating this stuff. And with very, very little interrogation, considering what we know now. What do you think, Gayle?
I think that there's nothing wrong with positive thinking. Just don't stop going to work or going to your local GP when something is alarming.
Okay, thank you, Gayle. It's incredibly helpful. A problematic interview with the Olsen twins. In 2004, Mary-Kate Olsen was being relentlessly photographed and written about because everyone suspected she had an eating disorder. Mary-Kate and Ashley, who was 17 at the time, appeared on Oprah.
We loved Mary-Kate.
They were
iconic. Iconic. They were in Two of a Kind.
New York
they
Minute.
Were in New York Minute. Obviously Full House. They were quite young then, but we grew up with the Olsen twins.
I loved their
and
haircuts.
they were so much better looking. And I remember thinking, I'd like to look like that one day.
I somehow thought because I was a twin, I deserved
to
look like
more
them.
attractive. I felt exactly the same. They really destigmatized twins.
The sisters, who were 17 at the time, appeared on Oprah. And when the video resurfaced recently, people interpreted the interview as insensitive. So Oprah asked Mary-Kate.
I know there's a new rumor that's recently surfaced, has really upset you, right? The one about eating.
That was another thing. We were titillated by sexuality and eating disorders.
Yeah.
We loved it. We loved to ask questions, and this was the thing.
We needed details.
It revealed a real anger towards women with eating disorders. There was a sense of like,
don't gatekeep this from me.
Yeah.
It was really odd.
It was really screwed up. It was, why don't you just eat?
Mm-hmm.
And it was also like, why don't you tell us how you're losing weight? Like, it was this really messed up thing as though it wasn't a mental illness.
It's really screwed up. So Ashley responded and said,
yeah, you know, people are going to write what they want to write. We try not to read the good or the bad because it just kind of comes with the territory. You know, either you're too fat, you're too skinny, and people are just going to write what they
What size
think.
are you, by the way?
okay, we don't ask somebody with an eating disorder what size they are. Ashley asks.
We don't ask anyone.
No,
actually.
Yeah, we don't ask anyone. Ashley asks size, then adds, I'm short, as a clear attempt to deflect. And the audience starts laughing.
Size?
Yeah, I always like
I'm
to
really
know.
short.
You're not sure?
Girls and,
Oh,
you know.
that's so interesting. That is so interesting. I'm like obsessed with size, and you're like, I really don't know.
Later that same year, Mary Kate checked into a rehabilitation facility to seek treatment for a food-related health disorder. Now, in hindsight, it seems incredibly cruel to publicly interrogate someone about their weight when it was suspected that they were experiencing a severe eating disorder. Anorexia in particular is one of the deadliest mental health conditions, and this was a 17-year-old being questioned on international television. Jessie, as Gayle, what would you say?
I would say that one of the reasons I love my good friend Oprah Winfrey, or Oprah Winfrey as I call her affectionately, is that she's imperfect. She has an Achilles heel. What is the Achilles heel? Weight. Why is it weight? Because people have been criticising her for her weight for her entire career. At this stage, maybe 30 years. She's obsessed with it. She sees these girls. She says, why are you so skinny? We just don't ask that. I can see that you're angry, potentially hostile, because of your own issues. We will get to the wagon wheel of fat or whatever it's called.
We will get there.
And that reveals some of Orpa's issues.
Some of where this was coming from.
And this is something we've discussed before on this show. Sometimes you need to go to therapy and sort your own issues with weight out.
Great advice.
And that's what she needed to do probably, rather.
In the 80s.
In the 80s
would
rather
have
than,
helped.
I mean, yell at Mary Kate.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a more effective way of doing it. I don't think she would do it now, but yes, in hindsight, it was a little bit inappropriate. We have talked about it in private.
We have. It just wasn't right.
I have one more thing I would like to add.
Okay, go.
I looked through to try and just refresh my memory of like my favourite Oprah episodes, right? And I was reminded of one. Okay, so in the late 1980s, Oprah kind of ran out of ideas for shows.
Well, it's good that she continued for so long.
Yes,
after...
I think she got like some help.
Yeah.
In 1988, she convinced Gayle's, that's me, mum to get a haircut. That was a whole episode.
Okay.
Just let's get her a haircut to give her a bit of a makeover. Another one she did when she ran out of ideas, she thought, let's find Gayle's first boyfriend. She got her on the show. Yes, that was the whole show.
I love that Gayle was mined for content.
She really, really was.
I convinced Gayle to be reunited with the first guy she ever said, I love you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gayle hasn't seen her high school sweetheart in 20 years either.
Oh, there was also one episode about the real Home Alone, the real life Home Alone.
Oh, it's a great title.
It's a great, I was like, oh, I'm pitching this to the website. This family really did leave their son behind and they were done for child neglect. And then it was a whole thing about how long you can leave your child behind.
This woman.
Outstanding content.
And her editorial
content machine.
Yeah.
Okay, Ninja Turtles. Have you seen this?
No.
The Ninja Turtles were promoting a tour and an album called Coming Out of Their Shell.
Weird time.
It was a really, really weird time. Some people were really into the Ninja Turtles. I remember from the age of 5 being like, I hate them.
No, I was
These
never
are for
interested.
children.
Same
It's
as Sailor
childish.
Moon. Same as Sailor Moon. Never did it for me.
Never did it for me. It was basically a 1-hour infomercial.
Oh, she would have been paid so
much money. But it was really weird. Like they were all dressed up as Ninja Turtles the whole time. And they spoke like Ninja Turtles. So they said things like cowabunga over and over again.
Oh, dudes, we're over here. Here's the door. All right, dudes. All right, come on. Oprah, here we come. Yo, cowabunga, dudes. Cowabunga, dudes.
Raphael said he was pursuing an interspecies relationship.
Is there anything like romantic or anything?
Oprah, I've been trying to talk her into an interspecies relationships for months now.
Whoa, Raph, chill, man.
And she won't do it,
She can't hold her breath.
No, she can't do it.
The biggest problem is she can't hold her breath long enough, you know?
It didn't make any sense. Oprah asks a little boy in the audience if he dug their new album, and the little boy scrunched up his face and said no. They were asked about their favourite pizza because Oprah was clearly running out of content, and she's like, what's your favourite pizza? And they said, Pizza Hut is in our contracts. Okay? Then I found a Reddit thread. You know the Reddit thread that's like /cringe?
Yes.
That's like the whole thing. And there were just children who remembered watching it as kids. And they were like, yeah, I remember watching this as a kid and being like, this is weird. This is really weird. And you know that Oprah walked off set and went, what the was that? Who
she
agreed
went
to this?
We're never doing that again.
We're
that
never
was
doing
a
that again.
fully branded episode
Tomorrow
of the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Tomorrow is Gayle's second boyfriend. And then the next episode is Gayle's third boyfriend. I will do that before I get a Ninja Turtle back on this show. Okay.
She's like, I know what my audience wants. They want more Gayle.
Exactly. But it was like for children. It was really, really inappropriate. And they think that the Ninja Turtles were actually making really like sexual adult jokes. They were just so bored and talking about Pizza Hut.
I have to say, if you're going to do thousands of episodes of television in the weird time that was the 90s and 2000s, you're going to end up
with a Ninja Turtle episode. We should have that in our jobs. Every now and then we go, that was a Ninja Turtle day. That was a Ninja Turtle day, wasn't it? That was just not my best. We won't speak of it again.
And it's like, it's out. Yeah. We're releasing it.
Oh, absolutely.
People will see it and everyone will go,
oh, that was weird.
Oprah,
and can you imagine if you'd taken a day off and you sit down and do... That's why I reckon I've watched this. I think I took a day off. I went, I've missed maths, I've missed English, I've missed sport. But it's 2:00 and I have something bad like popcorn. Yeah. And I've sat down and I've gone, is this seriously a Ninja Turtles infomercial? Because this is not what I was
And
promised.
there is nothing on the other channel.
No.
That is all we have time for today. But please join us next week for part 2 of our cancelled series about Oprah. Next week, we'll jump into such things as when she defended a fake book, Harvey Weinstein, what was going on with him and did she know about it, her weird weight loss era that went on for far too long, and a bunch of lies that she's accused of telling. I don't know if they're true. And of course, we'll deliver our charges and sentences, because what happens in court when you have a recess, you don't give your charges and sentences then. You have to wait until you come back.
Is this a recess?
This is a recess.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you know how a court
No,
works?
not really.
We are still going to have receipts from today's episode on our Instagram. And if you wanted to leave us a review, you could also do that.
The executive producer of Cancelled is Talissa Bazaz. We will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.